Hey y'all, what's going on? Oh, why is this continuing to happen? I don't understand that. It's so weird. Uh, yeah. So we're waiting for Greg. No surprise, right? No surprise. But that's all right. How's everybody? What is going on? Blame Greg. Hashtag blame Greg. Oh man, I am tired. But it's a Memorial Day weekend, and tomorrow is the day where, if you live in America, you get to get fat. I mean, as if we need a special day for that. We got several of those. It's just another day. Yes, that's right. I'm not Greg. Thank goodness for that. I thank goodness for that every day. Um, yeah, no, it's also about remembering the people who fought and died for this country. So appreciate that for them. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's having a grand old time. And here he is in all of his glory. Gregory, can you imagine coming here all early and getting excited and then having to wait, delayed? And what you get for all of your waiting is a wild Greg. Like, that's what you get for waiting. Congrats.
You're welcome.
Looks like people thought you might have finally been canceled. Nope. That shall probably never happen. As long as I'm around.
I mean, one day I will be canceled.
Hope everyone's doing well. So talk about some things, I suppose.
What if we didn't talk about anything? What if we just quit right now?
We just quit right in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? This is it. This is right.
This is
We
it.
talked about last week that, like,
good enough.
You never know when it would happen. It just might happen one day.
This gadget cast. Let's end it now.
But if we do that, then Genius Bar wins. I feel like we should last one extra episode. See, I think that would keep you going. I think we last one more episode than Genius Bar.
Right. I can't let the Genius Bar win.
Am I right?
Yeah, I'll go on until the Genius Bar ends, and we'll just do one episode after them. I say they got about like 4 months left.
I'm surprised they've gone as long as they have, to be honest.
Yeah. It'll be over soon for them.
Yeah, pretty much. We are now announcing that we will go one episode longer than Genius Bar, whatever that is. However long they go, we will go one extra episode to prove a point.
I can podcast out of spite. I could do that. I could keep a podcast going completely out of spite.
It's a great motivation.
Mm-hmm.
I still think we should do Foodcast. I still think we should do Foodcast. Because who cares about tech anymore? Everyone always eats food, though.
I just got my Gadget Cast PlayStation controller, so I can't quit now. Look at that.
Well, let's talk about that. All right, let's get it going.
I don't want to talk about
You know what's interesting? You know what's crazy, Greg? And I'm not even lying. So there's a new firmware upgrade for the Rodecaster that's out. It's been out for a better part of a year. And I tried to flash I downloaded it. I didn't look at the version number, but I guess when you go to Rodecaster site, it's actually the older one, the one we already have. Ever since I've done that, every time I turn my Rodecaster on, it shows it's like the date reset. Like, what's the date? You want to, yes, confirm. I'm like, bro, you just put a firmware on your website, so we have to buy the Rodecaster 2. That's why you did this, to make me go, well, I don't need this anymore. It's not being acting right. You already pre-ordered yours, huh?
Mm-hmm. I did.
You're so excited to use it for what, though?
Gadget Cast.
Exactly right. I looked at that going, well, I mean, we're still doing Gadget Cast. It's not like we're really saying we're going anywhere. But by the same token, it's like, am I buying something that's that expensive for a usually once a week thing?
I mean, I imagine even if Gadget Cast was to end, I imagine I would eventually find my way back to some sort of podcast. It's the natural order of things as a creator. You have to have a podcast.
In fairness, I actually use this for my video production too, for my audio. So it's fine for me. Like, it makes sense.
Yeah, I just use it for the podcast. I used to use it for my audio production. So
what do you do now? You just go directly into your camera?
Yeah, I have like a little adapter that like goes into the top of the camera, and it has like an XLR connection. It's nice. Saves me time. Ultimately, I was like, yeah,
maybe I should do that. Get one of those. That would save time because what I almost exclusively use my iMac for is syncing audio,
Mm.
and then I bounce it from that to my iPad. It's a weird, ridiculous. I wish I could just learn how to edit better in Final Cut, and I won't have to worry about it.
I convinced Papa to get their first Mac. Whoa.
Oh,
Whoa. Influencer
what?
status. I
That is
convinced someone to get their
status.
first Mac.
Well, but here's the smart move. When you do that,
Wonder-
you got to have affiliate set up. That way you make a little money on it. On the
Yeah,
kickback.
I do have an affiliate. Did you buy it through my affiliate link? Did you give me a kickback or did you just
That's what you got to do.
take
You
my
send
advice
people
free?
our affiliate links only when you convince people. What's
Yeah,
wrong with
use
you?
my affiliate link.
That's how
There was a time where, like when the M1s first came out, and like I did like all like my videos on them. Woo, that affiliate money was pretty good for a while, but not so much anymore.
all dried up. Let's talk about that now.
They gotta release new Macs, and then I can once again
Reign supreme.
reign in the affiliate money. Also, with all the shortages, the affiliates for like Mac stuff has not been good recently. I think it's mostly with shortages and
Right.
Let's
should just talk about that on Gadget. Yeah,
exactly.
All right, tell me, are you ready, buddy?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, this is 3, 2, 1, record.
Discovery's 4 computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
3, 2, 1, 0, 0. Liftoff.
Hello, world. Welcome to the only podcast hosted by Gregory McFadden and his co-host Travis MCP, the Gadget Cast.
Space travel.
Wow. Wow. You're late
Nice
to the live stream.
Travis. Nice timing.
And your timing is that just was terrible. But you know what?
That was great. Great timing.
You've hit it
I thought, why do good timing? Let's hit him with an awful one every once in a while. Keep.
I mean, it keeps on their toes. Yeah. Keep everyone on their toes. Yeah.
For the audio listeners, Travis did walk away, and I just hit him with like a very fast. And here's Travis. And he didn't come back.
That was perfect time though. I hit
I
my
won't
post.
edit out that awkward little second of no response.
I hit my post. I don't know about you.
We need a new intro song. It's time for Jonathan Morrison to make us one.
Yes. It's actually not bad.
It better be in Dolby Atmos.
Yes.
And I think we move GadgetCast to a subscription only. And we become so exclusive that if you don't have an Atmos setup, you can't listen. Which means I could not listen to my own podcast, but that's fine. I don't need to listen to it.
You know what's interesting about that? Remember when the App Store first came out and they had like 1 or 2 apps that were like $1,000 and it was just like a gem? Do you remember this? It was it was really like a picture of a gem. And Apple actually ended up like banning them. I don't know why, but they did because I guess they didn't want it to be too ridiculous, which that was. We could be the equivalent of that.
Yeah, we could be the fake gem.
Yes.
This what is this? This is Restream?
Yeah, why? What's that?
Do they put like a fake bokeh? I'm just noticing this now.
No, Restream doesn't do that.
There definitely is. This is fake
Restream
bokeh.
Doesn't do that.
Look at this.
I thought you did that.
Fake. No, I'm not doing it.
Did you select fake? There is an option to blur background, but you did it.
Oh, it does it on every camera?
I didn't know that. Actually, I didn't know that. It's a new thing. That's crazy for people.
I only thought it did on their own cameras. Yeah, I am using FaceTime's thing. Oh wow, I didn't know it would work on my Sony camera. I'm just only now noticing it. I must have had it on forever. I must have just had it on forever, but I'm only now noticing it because I'm looking at a giant TV of me now, and I'm just like, that doesn't look 100% right. But I guess I'll keep it. You don't need to see my background.
Well, so here's the thing.
Cool.
So I use the NVIDIA broadcast blur, and I bought a freaking video card just for that, which is the dumbest thing ever said by someone. But I didn't know that Restream did this. This is something new. That's crazy. So for people who don't know, a lot of live streaming on YouTube and such, but people who aren't gaming, you can use a web browser to live stream, which is what we do when we record the podcast. And one of the features is to put this kind of bokeh. I didn't know this in the background. Usually use like a green screen or something. That's really cool that they do that. And the thing about it is, it's all being done through a browser. So much stuff on the internet is done through a browser.
I think this is Apple's own thing, though.
Well, but that's not just. See, I'm on a Windows machine, and that option's here as well. So if you go to video, there's if you go to
Restream,
the virtual background. There's a virtual background. There's deselect background. Then there's blur background, which I had never seen before. It's kind of cool. You also can put in a fake background and all the other things if you have a green screen, I guess. Yeah, see, it does it does its own virtual green screen now.
I have now switched to real bokeh. So for those of you confused, this is a real bokeh now. This is just my camera. But before, I'll turn it on again. Look at this. I'm gonna do a demo. Look at this. I'm gonna turn it on, and there it is. There, now it's fake. I don't need it though.
But wait, is it bokeh on bokeh? In which case you're confusing it.
It's bokeh on bokeh.
Bokeh on bokeh. The only podcast on the internet with bokeh on bokeh. And for people listening on audio, this really literally means nothing. So this is fascinating to me. I didn't know there's an option. It's pretty damn cool. Maybe I'll tweet that out. I think that's great. Good on you, Restream. Okay. So WWDC right around the corner. Right. We also have what else do we have going on? Oh, so some new iPhone 14 news, and then just general, whatever the heck we want to talk about, because this is the Gadget Cast. Where do we want to start, Greg? Because I don't know what's going on in WWDC. My focus has been kind of elsewhere.
You don't know what's going on.
The last thing I heard was 504. The last thing I heard was that there might be hardware shown, and then it was like, nope, no hardware is going to be shown. Where are we at now? Is hardware going to be shown or not?
I think so.
And what is it?
Probably like they'll show off the Mac Pro, and then you won't be able to order it until like the end of the year, because they have to complete the transition to silicon. That's their last one that they have to do. Yep. So this is the event to do it at. You don't want to announce a Mac Pro in September along an iPhone. It just doesn't make sense. The audience that would be interested in this type of computer is the audience that watches WWDC. They don't need to show the same people that watch the iPhone event. They don't need to tell them all about the Mac Pro. No one's going to buy that computer. It's a very niche audience, even more niche than something like a Mac Studio. So I think we'll see it at WWDC, and then we won't be able to buy it until the end of the year, because they did that with the last Mac Pro. And they said they have one more Mac to release. They're on a fixed timeline, or as fixed as Apple makes it. If they want to extend it, they could, but I think Apple wants to stay to their 2-year timeline. They're this close. Why not finish it? And they'll probably announce it, ship it at the end of the year, and we'll see a very powerful Mac shown off at WWDC. I don't know if any of the other M2 Macs are coming. Probably not, because I haven't really heard too much about it. But I also think, Travis, I really feel like there's a good chance that we could see something with Apple's augmented or virtual reality, mixed reality headset. I really just have this feeling and just have it. I'm just like, I think they might show it off. They just refiled for the trademarks for something called Reality OS.
Okay.
And they just refiled for it and it's going to go 2 days after WWDC. They're going to have this trademark or something like that. It was like leaked. So Reality OS to me sounds like a new operating system that would deal with augmented reality or virtual reality, I guess both. And I think we'll be strapping Apple glasses to our heads pretty soon.
Greg, explain to the people who are listening, because I understand. I know exactly what you're saying. Explain to the people what the difference is between virtual reality and augmented reality.
I don't want to do that. If you don't know,
make sure. No, make sure.
Podcast. I'm just kidding.
Sure
augmented reality. Right. Okay. Virtual reality is you put on a screen and you're closed off. All you see is the fake world. Like picture like a video game. You put on goggles, you're in the video game. You play Super Mario Brothers, you put on this headset, all of a sudden you're in the Super Mario Brothers world. Augmented reality is augmenting. It's what's another word for augment? See, when you're too smart, you can't think of the simpler word for augment. It changes things in your reality. So let's say you walk into Starbucks and you look at a coffee cup, and then all of a sudden you could have your glasses. It could display $3 for the price. Or if you look at someone's face, if I look at Travis and I'm like, who is this guy? I know this guy from somewhere. Maybe it could pop up Travis's contact details and go, oh, that's Travis MCP. You know him from this. Maybe if you're driving in your car and you need directions, instead of looking to the side on your phone to look at this map for directions, if you're wearing something like augmented reality glasses, you could kind of have the map transposed onto the world, and then you could drive straight on without having, it could be a safer experience because you don't have to look down at something else to see where you're going. You'd be able to have this mini map in front of you at all times.
Well, I love that. And which would you, I know which one you would prefer. If you had to choose one or the other, because they're different experiences. You would prefer AR, correct?
I think I would prefer, and this may shock you, I think I would prefer virtual reality.
Oh.
But it would have to be just done right, if that makes sense. I've tried virtual reality experiences before. I haven't been a huge fan of them, but it's not because I don't want to be in a virtual reality world. I really like video games a lot, so I think I would want to spend my time mostly in a fake world. But I just have problems with it right now where like some of the games aren't entertaining, or they're not engaging enough, or it makes me feel sick to my stomach. And it's like, okay, well, I don't want to spend any time in this world if it's going to make me feel sick all the time. I think most people probably want augmented reality, because I don't think most people want to spend their life in a fantasy world. Maybe they do, actually.
Maybe they do nowadays. Yeah, I mean, I know I do.
Maybe.
I'm not trying to leave my house.
Augmented reality is probably the better technology, at least right now, because I don't think we will. I just don't see ourselves in like a super well polished virtual reality world anytime soon, considering just the sheer amount of resources that you have to go into developing these like games or worlds. And then the more realistic you make that, the more resources it takes. And I just think we're going to need a couple more technological leaps before that becomes like a thing everyone wants to do.
Well, so it depends. The other day I do meetings with people every Friday in VR, and I love it. I also spent a night the other night, for the first time in a while, like hanging out with my Oculus VR, popping into different apps, seeing different people, watching different movies and parts of movies and stuff. And there's really nothing like it. And it's so cozy to be sitting in your own comfortable couch or wherever, but popping around the world and seeing different things. I'm not even playing games. Like, games are awesome, but like just doing all those things and going to different movie theaters virtually and doing all these cool things that, would normally cost you a lot of money and time. And it seems like a dangerous world nowadays. Like, I just don't even want to bother. And VR kind of gives you an opportunity to do that. Now, of course, anytime you do something like that, you got a bunch of trolls and little kids and all the other stuff. So there is a little bit of that. But definitely I love VR. I don't do it as much as I would like to. I think that I'll start doing it more, and I'm going to start working out again. Definitely going to use it as part of my workout regimen. I think it's great for workouts. It's a little sweaty, but definitely you get a good workout in. And I like it personally. AR is great because if you're an out and about person, just like you said, and you use like, this supposed Apple glass or whatever, that's going to be, listen, as soon as Apple gets into anything, we've said this a million times before, it legitimizes it. So no matter what Apple does, if they do one, the other, or both, it will legitimize it immediately. And the companies will start putting in more of their money and time into this because Apple is legitimizing it. Does it mean Apple will stick with it forever? Maybe not. But that brings up another interesting thing, the rumor that, and I got to be honest, we are geniuses here on the Gadget Cast, as we kind of predicted in a weird sort of way, Apple getting into gaming. And then within a day, there's a big rumor that Apple's trying to buy EA, one of the largest publishers of video games. First of all, pat on our backs for that, because we are geniuses. Yeah. But what do you think about this? Like, if this is true, and a lot of places are saying they're in the lead. Now, there's other companies like Amazon and such that apparently want to buy EA as well. I think Microsoft should put their hat in there if they could. But if they do pull this off,
Microsoft
What
owns
is
enough game studios now. Another one. I think they buy one too many, and all of a sudden there's going to be like a law saying, "Wait a minute."
Yeah, you might be right. You might be right. But what do you think Apple would do? I mean, obviously they can't just because EA has a lot of. For people who don't know, EA is a lot of sports games, a lot, but other games too. But a lot of major sports titles, and it's
a lot
not
of
like they would.
mainstream games that would
Yes,
really benefit a customer like Apple. Like if you got
NBA,
Madden, you know,
Madden,
yeah,
like all these big games. So the question
like
is, what would Apple do with it?
I think I think they would this would be so Apple in gaming has always just had like this weird kind of relationship where they even like reference games like when they do like events and stuff like that, even on the Mac, but everyone knows like, okay, you don't really buy a Mac to game. It can play some games, but it never like plays them that well. It's never well optimized settings wise, so you're not getting like the highest frame rates or the highest graphics or resolution. Macs have just never been geared towards a gaming audience. And the mobile division of Apple, like iPhone games, actually make a lot of money for Apple. But mobile gaming, as everyone knows, like it's usually like a lot of like slot machine type games as the best way I could describe them, where it's kind of like an addictive game like Candy Crush, and they're kind of like banking on your addiction to make like a ton of money on it. And it's not really what I guess. I mean, they're all games, but like like this broad AAA entertainment kind of game stuff. So Apple buying EA doesn't really make sense at first because you're like, well, Apple doesn't really have a gaming I mean, they have platforms that could become like strong gaming platforms, but they really don't have anything established for like a AAA gaming platform device. So I think the only thing that would really make sense for Apple to buy EA is if one, the Apple Silicon Macs that we're getting now in the future roadmap are going to get even better at gaming, and they really need to buy a studio that they can kind of start dog fooding their own hardware so they could optimize all these games to run perfectly on Apple Silicon. And then maybe they could, once they start doing it, once they have all these games start doing it, maybe that's an easier process for other developers, especially if they kind of just get away. Like, here's what you have to do to optimize for Apple Silicon. It'll be very easy. And then all of a sudden you have a bunch of other computers that can run these games because, you know, Mac might be only 10% of the market, but if every Apple Silicon Mac can run these games, that might actually be a big enough audience that these publishers eventually want to chase if they make the job easy for them. I think the more realistic answer is Apple is looking at a new platform like these headsets, and they're going, what are the big features that people are going to use now? And what do we need to get people to buy a headset, to even just try it out? Maybe we have other things we plan for them to use, but what's going to get them in the door to try this headset? And I think, as I said on the last show, I think the big answer to that is gaming. I think a lot of people would just buy this if it offered a very compelling gaming experience. And we're seeing Apple just get into all types of content now, right? Apple's like a big company. They can only sell so many iPhones. They either have to come out with new hardware products or they have to come out with new services. And we've seen Apple do pretty okay now with some of these services like Apple TV Plus, Apple Music. And what is the big missing piece of media in Apple's arsenal right now? Gaming. They have Apple Arcade, right? They already have this kind of subscription service that they do on mobile, but I don't think that's that popular because, again, I think mobile games are very kind of like, I'll play this for 10 minutes in line at the store somewhere. I'm not really going to sit down and play something on my iPhone for like 5 hours a night, you know? But people do that all the time on like consoles. So I think Apple buying EA or showing interest in EA is to bolster a future platform where they know that they probably need these games. Like you said, Microsoft is gobbling up these studios. If they bought EA, it would almost be game over for the amount of studios that they own and the amount of core audience that they would be able to grab if they were to make these like all exclusive games to their platform. So I think Apple might be buying this to get the expertise to start making these games, bringing existing strong games over to to this virtual reality headset. And then maybe from there, we could see Apple maybe make their own studios, like an Apple game studios, like they kind of did with Apple TV Plus.
I think if Apple's smart, and obviously Apple listens to this podcast because they're considering
Someone
buying
from
EA.
Apple must have listened to this podcast at least once. They might have like stumbled upon it and went, "Oh, hey,
we should buy EA," based on what I heard Greg and Travis.
Yeah,
talk
I
about,
heard
obviously.
Greg's gadgets say, gaming on the Apple headset would be a good idea. Tim Cook, maybe we should buy EA, and then Tim was like, "Yes."
So
Good
let me
idea.
give them another little great piece of information. I believe I know how they should market this device, and it's really, I think I call it the three pillars. I call it the three pillars only because it's the thing that popped in my head right now. I call it the three pillars of marketing for this VR set. And here's what you do. Your number one audience, just because it's so large, is gaming, and it's the obvious one. It's probably the one that it will be, if you can do it right, the easiest to convert, because gamers are into all types of stuff, right? I believe the second, and actually not too small segment after that, are people who love to watch content. And if you've ever watched content in a VR, you can have what is the equivalent of like 100 or 150 inch or 200 inch screen or larger at a movie theater, like virtually in front of you. And it is very convincing with surround sound with these headsets, like really good sound and visuals. It's possible right now. And there's tons of people that do that who can't, maybe they don't want to go to movies anymore because they're kind of freaked out, or maybe they don't want to pay the money or whatever. And maybe they want to be able to have that experience at home, but they live in an apartment. They don't have the space for a large screen TV or projector. You put this thing on your face, you're sitting in front of a projector that looks like you're in the movie theater. And that's available at this moment. So that's segment 2, right? That's 2 of the 3 prongs. The third is probably less likely, I should say less likely, less base, not as big, but still important, are production. So people who, because you can use you can connect your computer even wirelessly to your headset to give you virtual screens, and things like Zoom and stuff are much more interactive when you're using a virtual headset. So you could also pitch it to people who do business from home as a more interactive thing, which is what Meta's doing kind of as well. So I think if you aim at those 3 segments, you have a pretty nice chunk of money coming in if you knock it out of the park, which I think Apple could do.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think the challenge for Apple, like I said in the last show, is they might even be the best at all of these things. They might be the best at the entertainment. They might be best at the gaming. I mean, the specs of the headset sound crazy. It's like dual 8K displays. It sounds like there's going to be a lot of impressive tech into here. Apple with audio recently has always done like a really good job. I'm sure they've invested a lot of money into spatial audio. I'm sure like this combination as like an entertainment headset, I'm sure it's going to be maybe the best one out there. You might have to pay a lot of money for it too, so it better be the best one out there in terms of the hardware. But I think the real challenge for them is creating new experiences that will broaden the audience for these headsets. I know like the Oculus did actually like pretty well over like the last holiday season. Like they were selling a lot. They were actually going through a lot of the inventory. But I still don't think these headsets have hit mass market appeal in any meaningful way.
No, not yet.
And for Apple to be dipping their toe into this market means they want to capture that mass audience. They want to be, they want this to be your first virtual reality headset if you've never bought one before. And they want to take all the existing people who already have one and get them to replace theirs. So I think they need to offer just something else that maybe you and I haven't thought of yet, or a whole new experience, or it just really has to be the most premium experience out there. Like an area that's really interesting to me, and I've been reading all the rumors about this headset, is dealing with that nausea problem of like getting sick and experiencing like that weird delay, because there's like this slight latency still in virtual reality, and it kind of trips up your head a little bit to where you start to feel a little bit motion sickness because the movements inside virtual reality aren't necessarily matching your head motions in the real world. And apparently that was like a big thing for Apple working on this project behind the scenes, is that early in development, they were facing that problem still of people still getting sick using their headset. And they were really trying to perfect it so that anyone who used this would never experience any sort of motion sickness. So these are not like easy challenges to solve for Apple.
Right. Especially at the degree, though, where they're going to want to resolve them. And then also Katya says something about eye strain. while that may or may not be a concern, the reality is it's not much different than looking at your smartphone all day. So really, you're kind of in the same situation. It's about as, I mean, it's a little bit closer to your eyes than other things are, but I mean, at this point, that's the least of people's concerns. I gotta be honest. I don't think people are going to think about that too much. There will be some people, of course, and regardless of anything, no matter how good it is, there's going to be a large portion of people who are just not going to be interested, and that's fair. But there's enough people that either are interested or could be interested because they just aren't aware that it's a thing. That there's a lot of market out there to be had, and it's very interesting to see what Apple will do. And this whole thing with EA is compelling because it kind of came out of left field. I would have assumed that they just would have had, if they even bought a studio, which I wouldn't even have considered, I would have thought it'd been a couple small ones and they throw together some games and nothing high end because they don't really have anything they can play like super high end games unless you get a super high end PC, which is beyond what a gamer is going to buy. You're not going to buy a M1 Ultra for gaming. That doesn't make any sense because while it's powerful, it's more powerful for production than it is for like video game playing, right? You get a PC for less than that that's going to perform probably better. So them going after an actual AAA, developer, really, if they really are, which I don't think you can keep something like that secret. I mean, I think the rumors we're hearing are true. Whether or not they end up walking away with them is one thing. Really shows an intent that we only kind of played around with the idea before, which brings us to WWDC. What else could they possibly be playing around with that we're just not aware of at this point? Like, what else is going on in the what is that Silicon Circle over there in California? Like, what else are they coming together? We hear now more rumors once again. It's, we hear this every so often of potential always on display on the iPhone 14 and iOS 16. I mean, we hear this every year.
That actually happened just today. They, I think Mark Gurman from Bloomberg was saying that iOS 16 is going to enable an always on display feature in anticipation for the iPhone 14 Pro. But I'm guessing if it's a software feature, it'll just go back to iPhones that have OLED displays, maybe even just ones with the LTPO display. So maybe it's only going to be like the 13 Pro series that gets this software feature. But it's an interesting feature considering what Android has had always on displays for I don't know how long, a very long time, forever. Yeah.
But isn't it weird that because typically, and there are some really cool features that come with new operating systems that are backwards compatible, I suppose, to phones. But if this is true, first of all, I don't know that they announce it at iOS for iOS 16. I think it's one of those things that's in maybe iOS 16 for the iPhone 14. And then once the iOS 14 comes out and they talk about it, then they backdate it to the other phones that are compatible. So I don't think we see something that's kind of a big feature, it's a good, like, what do they call that? Life, I forget what the term is.
Quality
of life feature. Right out of nowhere that wasn't there for the launch. It doesn't make any sense. It's a very un-Apple-like, and it wouldn't make a lot of sense when they could just save that for as one of the other bullet points for buying an iPhone 14, right? And then say, oh, by the way, congratulations, iPhone 13s. You get iPhone 13 Pro series, you get it as well. So if it's true, great, cool, amazing. I don't suspect we will see it at WWDC.
I imagine it's probably going to be an exclusive feature for the next phones because, like, Apple does do a good job of updating the software for older phones, but a feature like this is just something where it feels like this is going to be tailor-made for like the next phones that are out. And someone can correct me if I'm wrong. I think the displays on like the phones, they lower down to like 10 hertz is like the lowest they can go to.
Mm-hmm.
I believe if they were to do an always on display, it would have to be like the Apple Watch where it goes down to like 1 hertz because they have an always on display on the Apple Watch. They're not opposed to the idea of an always on display. But if it's running constantly at 10 hertz, I think it would drain the battery too much on the 13 Pro series. I don't think it would. I don't know. Like, because I think if Apple's doing an always on display, it's not just going to be the standard Android always on display of it's all black. Here's like some notification kind of thing, and then like the time in the middle. That's been like pretty much my experience with like always on displays on Android. Like it's pretty not visual of an experience. It's very just like, here's the time. Maybe you see like a couple notifications, but like nothing else, because having that information on their displays, like it takes a big toll on the battery. But if I look at like my Apple Watch, if I look at the always on display, like pretty much all the information that the Apple Watch displays when it's on is here. And they even have like color and stuff in the display itself. So I imagine an iPhone display, if it had an always on display, would be something more like that. But again, I just don't think the technology in the existing phones would be low power enough to enable it. But with the 14 Pro, they can obviously source those displays, get them. I'm sure they can get it to like 1 hertz, just like the Apple Watch, if it can do it like that through OLED.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you can do it on the Apple Watch, you can certainly do it on a phone. It's just a matter of using that same display and all the other magic trickery they got.
And I think the recent Samsung phones, weren't they able to go all the way down to that like just bottom low refresh rate? I think so. I think that was like a new technology on like the S22s and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think so. I just got my S22 Ultra back from my last Switch video, so I have to relook at that.
Yeah, you need to do the hardware test, see if the screen technology. We could just Google search it, but
we should just do that instead, because I'm not going to do that. But anyway, you were saying?
Yeah, no, I think we probably see like the traces of it in iOS 16, but I just don't see them. I don't think the current technology on the phones would be power efficient enough to display it, unless of course it's like a basic version of an always on display. Obviously, the technologies existed for that forever. They've had phones, OLED phones on Android phones for years that never even had this variable refresh rate technology, and they've had always on displays. I just think that if Apple does it, I just can't picture it being that basic always on display, because why haven't you done this since it would be a big, like, if they're doing it a certain way with a certain visual flair, which sounds very Apple like, if they're just going to do like the basic version of it, it's kind of like, why wasn't this here since the iPhone 10? Yeah. You've resisted this long. Why do it now? And I think that would actually be I think that would be a mark against Apple, because it's kind of just like, well, is this just kind of like bottom of the barrel stuff now? Like you're just like, okay, well, we need a new feature. We've waited on this one for a while. Let's do that.
But I don't think that's a good enough reason to not do it. Like, well, we haven't done all this time, so just not continue to do it.
I don't, but like, it would, to me at least, it would just be like, well, why hasn't this been here for all this time? Like, why? I mean,
you could say that about wireless charging. You can say that. Where's reverse wireless? Like, true. You could say that about all those things, which they eventually come out with. Real quick, before just a slight divergence, I unfortunately was briefly sucked into the Johnny Depp trial, which I guess all of YouTube is as well. But what I found interesting was there was a whole section about pictures on the iPhone, which I think was an iPhone 10 or something, being taken, and the metadata on the pictures. That was a whole section of the trial, which was really interesting for someone who likes tech. Like I actually was more interested in that part than most. Well, there's other parts that were pretty interesting too, but it was very interesting stuff to read about, and how iTunes backups, some of them keep the metadata and some don't. And then the copies of the pictures that go across all of your devices being exactly the same, and all. It was pretty compelling stuff. So even if you aren't into the whole Johnny Depp trial, there's a whole section of that trial that was kind of interesting, talking about iPhones and pictures taken with them, and if some of them were altered and how they could tell. There's this digital forensic thing you can do with pictures and stuff. So anyway, if you're into tech and you're kind of into that sort of thing, do some Google searching. It was a pretty compelling little thing that was in the news. So watch that. But yeah, back to WWDC.
No. Retitle this stream. Retitle the stream. Lawyers react to Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Just title it that. Let's see how many people we get.
We'll get a lot of views. I'll tell you that. They'll immediately curse us.
Can you imagine? We just title it that. People show up to this.
You know how many channels I've seen do that weren't doing anything to do with that stuff, and now they're getting tons of views. They're going to be really sad, because a lot of them think that
it is a flash in the pan for sure. Yeah. For like, listen, if you've like covered like similar stuff, you'll probably get an audience, because you're going to cover similar stuff after this. Right. But I agree. I've seen like channels that were like a gaming channel that have nothing to do with this, and it's like, this is the new hotness. You could like literally upload anything and you'll get views on it. And once this is over, it's just going to be like, no one's coming back. No matter how many subscribers you got from it, no one's coming back.
They're going to be so confused, which is the thing that I kind of laugh about. I was like, they're going to be like, oh, I thought, why? And yeah, it's not the way YouTube works. Anyway, yeah, that's a whole other conversation for another day, I'm sure.
It's very similar to the stimulus channels. I've checked up on a lot of the stimulus channels, and
how are they doing?
No, they are not doing too well with the stim. You know, ever since the they're still making videos like, it's the fourth stimulus. It's coming.
It's coming. No, it's not. I don't think it's coming.
There's like a solid month of the fourth stimulus is coming, and I'm just like, it's not.
I don't think it is.
I mean, in our lifetime, there will probably be some sort of stimulus. And I will be there to, you know, hopefully I'm a much older person, because I don't want to, you know, go through hard times like that. But I will capitalize the next time. I will make a channel just going, the stimulus is coming.
It's coming. It's coming. Yay, it's coming. Oh my God, so funny. What else is going on? Yeah, so the latest for the iPhone 14, which let's be pretty clear. Yeah, iPhone 14 preview versus depth. You're exactly right there, 504. I think the thing is with the iPhone 14, we know a couple of things. We know there's going to be two versions, the 14 and 14 Pro series, which has always been, we've known that for a long time. Also, no mini. I've known that for like 2 years, just because I knew that after that first year, there's no way they were going to have one for the 14. Then the idea that the punch hole, the new kind of design, is only for pros, right? We're hearing that. And now the amount of products, Front Page Tech has been kind of covering this. If you want an iPhone 14 this year, you're probably going to want to quickly pre-order, more so than normal. Like, iPhones usually are hard to get if you don't pre-order them anyway. I think this year's going to be an exceptional year, because as it is right now, if you go to Apple's website, it's hard to get anything, Greg. Like, anything. So it's going to be bad if you want an iPhone 14 or 14 Pro series of phones. What are your thoughts on this in general?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of demand and not a lot of inventory. Because anytime they change up the design a little bit, there's always like new demand, because people are like, oh, I want the one that looks new. And I think that this year, their phone strategy was like a little misled with the mini, because it didn't sell well. People wanted bigger phones. So this year, they're going to give people exactly what they wanted. There's going to be two big phone models. I think even though the 14 Max, like the normal phone, won't get like the new design, I still think that one's going to sell, because it's going to be a 6.7-inch iPhone, a big version that's under $1,000. Like, it's going to be like $900. Still a lot of money, but to like most people, they'll look at that and go, oh, wow. So I can get the same like big phone. I don't have to spend over $1,000 for it. Sign me up. So yeah, they're going to get it.
I think the thing is, Katya was talking about how she just got the Sierra Blue iPhone 13 Pro Max because 14 won't get it. And James says he's getting his 13 Pro Max here soon. So the question is, because of the timing, I mean, we are almost in summertime, which blows my mind. We're only a couple months away. I mean, we're always only a couple months away from the newer phone. Do you wait or do you get it now? I would say look at whatever deals are going on right now. Do not pay full price at all for any of the iPhones right now, or even like the Samsung phones, which you definitely almost never have to do. Get it. Make sure you're getting a deal, whether it be a trade-in deal, like a really good trade-in deal, or something on sale. Go to Best Buy or whatever. Then it's a fine purchase.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I saw a thing from like the Apple store today saying like, for this month only, there is increased credit to trade in your phone.
Oh,
or like, I think like any Apple product this month only, like a couple of days left, they were doing like increased trade in. I'm sure you'll get like a better deal from like your carrier still, but like if you do shop at Apple for whatever reason, you like shopping from them, there was like a special deal where they were like giving more money than usual.
Yeah. So for a deal, yeah, it's still fine to get the iPhone 13 Pro series or even the iPhone 13 series of phones, depending on what you're needing. Beyond that, as we get closer to the 14, I usually say wait, and it's not necessarily to pick up a 14, but because the prices of 13s and the people trying to get rid of their 13s is going to be pretty high as people try to sell, trade in, whatever. There'll be an influx in availability of this phone. It might not be new, but you're going to get a good deal. So
it it is weird how close we are getting to the next iPhone. It always
Not
seems
that
like
long.
it's not that long. It's like 3 months at this point, which is kind of weird. It's like time flies because it's like I was like thinking about it and I'm like, well, we still have a ways to go. People could buy it. And then I was like trying to think, I'm like, how many more months until we okay, it's actually like in technology terms, it is almost right around the corner.
Yeah.
But yeah, I say if you get a deal on it, don't feel bad buying it. And there's also again the hassle of getting this phone, as we were just talking about. If it's going to be in short supply, some people just hate dealing with that, like dealing with the hassle of going and oh, I have to pre-order on this day and I won't get it. I have to wake up at this time. I just want a new phone, and it's kind of like okay, like I could almost sympathize with that because I'm like that with things that aren't tech sometimes. Like if it's not like something I'm super into, it's kind of just like, well, I just want this done and I want it now because it doesn't revolve around my entire life. So I agree with that.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, the more I think about that, the more I go, am I even going to get the Pro or 14? I don't know because by that point,
know. Yeah,
I don't know how much tech I'm going to be doing, which will be like the last thing we talk about during GadgetCast. But it's I know you will because you have to. You got a channel that pretty much around. But the other side of this is if you don't get it early enough, like because I live on the West Coast and Apple, damn them to hell. In order for me to pre-order on time, I got to get up at like 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. or something dumb like that. Because they always do it stupid early, but they do it according to like East Coast times. So that's always a pain. And if they already are going to be starting with and we don't know this for sure, although we know that the supply chain is constrained based on everything. Like this part is true. This part is demonstrably true. The supply chain is constrained. There is a very reasonable thought that iPhone 14 series of phones are going to be hard to get a hold of after the first pre-order cycle. Like it's going to be pushed out. That's always the case. I'm going to make the very easy to make prediction that it's going to be, you'll the first hour or two, you'll be able to get it. Maybe not even an hour. You'll get it on release date. By the next day, you're going to be looking like 2 months out, probably minimum.
Based on, and I know like comparing Macs isn't like the best like thing, but the MacBook Pro was released half a year ago and it is still facing shipping delays. Like this is something that should have cleared up by now. The Mac Studio came out and you think, okay, Mac Studio, that's a very targeted audience of people who are buying this product. And you go to buy one and you can't get one. I heard, I wish I remember which podcast talked about this. I listened to other podcasts. I was listening to some other Apple podcast and one of the hosts was saying that they ordered a studio display like the day after pre-orders or something like that.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. They ordered a studio display. And Apple actually contacted them and said the shipping estimate we gave you was wrong. Like it was 7-8 months away from the pre-order of when they ordered it, and they contact them and said we have to extend this order period. It's going to ship out in like another couple weeks. Like that's how bad the shipping delays are. That Apple's own estimates of when they can get you a product are off. Usually companies like Apple, Amazon, I always find that they'll give you like a long estimate and they'll over deliver. Like they'll deliver it like ahead of schedule. Like it'll be like, oh, it's a 4-week wait. And they deliver it in 2 to 3 weeks. And it's like, okay, I got a little bit earlier than I expected. I'm happy. The fact that they have to like go to customers at this point and go, it's going to take even longer than our long like estimate at this point, I think is just that spells the writing on the wall.
Very telling. And that's for a monitor.
I think if you don't order, maybe I'll be, I don't know if I want how high, I should make this video because it'll probably do pretty well, but I'll save it for when the iPhones are actually going to be out. If you don't order a new iPhone 14 in like the first hour, I don't think you're getting it on launch day. And I'm not going to say I don't know how long you're going to wait. I'm sure Apple's going to spin them up as fast as they can. iPhone's such big business for them. But I think within the first hour, if you don't order one, I think for most specifications, you're not getting it.
Yep.
Especially the popular models.
Unless your carrier has them.
Yes. Like there will be ways to get it. You can get it through Best Buy, I'm sure. You'll be able to get it through your carriers. There's going to be even stock if you go into an Apple store on launch day. You will get lucky. But I'm saying like I'm saying if you want to order online through Apple and all this stuff, like you're probably gonna have to order within the first hour, and I bet after the first hour there's delays.
Yes, and then and yes, like Greg says, there will be other places to get them, but those will dry up fast as well. It's not gonna. I think the only place you might be able to get away with something like that are some stores in person, because a lot of people don't think of that. Like, I don't ever think of going to a Best Buy to get a smartphone. Although you've been able to do it sometimes, like even when everywhere else is sold out, because people don't think of that.
Yeah.
I know that even the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra, when it was sold out everywhere, Amazon had them because people weren't even thinking of going to Amazon and getting them. So, it's just one of those things where if you can think of places that might carry it that most people don't think of, you might still be able to get it after the fact. But you might as well just take that frustration and if you really want it, get it out of the way. Either call your carrier or get online to your carrier right off. I know it's a pain in the butt. Get up extra early, do all the things, just be done with it. Otherwise, you're waiting. And there's nothing wrong. By the way, nothing wrong with that. You can wait.
I remember when I first started my channel, and I was like going to do like my first iPhone video, and especially back then, it was like, oh my god, iPhone video, that's going to get a ton of views. I like pre-ordered the iPhone 7 Plus through like Best Buy, and because like Apple like ran out of them. And I was like, okay, I got it through Best Buy. I got it for launch date. It's going to be fine. I showed up, or I don't even remember if I showed up, but I remember they just didn't have the phone ready at Best Buy. And it took like, I think like an extra like 2 weeks, maybe even up to like a month for them to like fulfill the order to get it to me. Like the wait was long enough that they gave me like, I think like $100 off the phone.
Oh my gosh.
Because they said it would be available on launch day and it wasn't.
Well, you also got to remember, but that was a little different. So back then, way back in the day, back in my day,
the iPhone 7. Well, I ended up not even doing a video on the iPhone 7 because it was that long. Ruined my momentum. I mean,
it was more of a popularity thing than it was like a constraint thing. Because, back then, iPhones were just popular just for being popular. But at this point, it's a little bit of that, but definitely a little bit of like, you just can't get it because they can't make them fast enough. So we'll see what happens. Maybe we're wrong. We're probably not. And look at it. In Scotland, you can order a studio display and get it dispatched 8 to 10 weeks or pick it up from the Apple Store. I don't know why you can get the Apple Store. Genosis was talking about in Canada, you can't even get some MacBooks until August. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's insane. Anywho,
what else can you say? What else can you say? I went to order like a specific Apple Watch band, and it was like out of stock for like 4 weeks. A band,
really?
A piece of plastic,
really?
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
Crazy. That's insane.
That's just silly. Insanity. It is silly.
Insanity. I was looking at
we live in.
Bro, we live in a crazy world right now.
I wanted to make an appointment at my like dealership for like car servicing, and it's like we don't have anything until like July. I'm like, what?
Wow.
No availability till July. What's going on? Is it like a part shortage or labor shortage? I don't know,
bro. It is just I don't know, bro. It's just a very strange.
Listen,
situation.
I'll put the beacon out there. If you're a car company that sells an electric car and you want to give me one, I will not say no. That's all I'll say.
Give you one. Oh yeah.
If you'd like to sponsor a video and
give me a car,
give me an electric car, or perhaps make the payment as large as the purchase price of an electric car. Maybe we can work something out.
I have a feeling that the better deal would be to just sponsor a video.
Sponsor a video.
I think.
Give me that car money. Ford. That's the worst one. So yeah. Ford's the worst one. So they're desperate. So come to me, Ford.
Hilarious.
Did I just ensure I'll never get a Ford sponsorship in my life because I said they're the desperate ones? Will this video come back?
Is that what you just said? Did you literally just say that?
That Ford is the worst car company? Ford is the most desperate car company, right?
Are they?
Ford?
But don't they have like electric
people buy Fords anymore? Who's buying a Ford?
I have no idea.
No one's buying Ford. Come on. Who's buying a
Watch you end up with
Ford?
a Ford. Watch you end up with a Ford.
Who's buying a Ford? It's like Honda, Toyota, Hyundai, Ford. That's
Yeah, I
pretty
got my
long.
Hyundai. Yeah. Ford has a higher failure rate for sure, says Genosis.
Yeah, no one's
Wow.
driving a Ford. I see cars on the road. Every time I see a Ford, I'm like,
Well,
Ford
mostly
guy.
Fords, aren't they mostly like F-150s and stuff?
Oh, Viper just bought a Ford? Oh, sorry. That is true. The F-150 is a very popular truck that is supposedly very reliable. But I'm talking about like cars and
why are you dunking on Ford,
EVs.
dude? What is wrong with you?
I don't know. I'm just like, who's buying these Fords? Like I read about cars when I have to buy one, and Ford's never the top recommendation. It isn't. It just isn't. It's always like a Honda, Toyota, Hyundai, even Kia. Yeah. Kia used to be junk, but now they're pretty good apparently. Right. But who's buying these Fords? It's like people who buy a OnePlus. Who's buying the OnePlus? Come on. You want to buy the OnePlus? You want to be that guy? Everyone's out. They're showing off their iPhones and their Galaxy phones. You're going to be the OnePlus guy? Why?
I mean, I used to love OnePlus, but they're not the same company.
You used to. People used to love Ford.
What? Why do you hate Ford so much? What am I missing? Trying to cancel.
I just don't know who's buying these. Who's buying the Ford? Does anyone in the chat like Ford? Anyone drive a Ford? Let me know.
The more
everyone's agreeing with me. No one likes the Ford cars. What does Ford got?
Well,
they got the Ford Fiesta.
I don't know. Let's pull them up.
Gary bought the Ford truck and he sold it for an electric car. So
he did?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I was looking at the same electric car he bought. Oh, did I freeze or did Travis freeze?
Isn't that Rivian or something? Everyone's talking about the Rivian. I don't even know what the Rivian is.
No, he didn't buy a Rivian. He bought like a Hyundai Ioniq.
Oh, I have a Hyundai. Weird.
Yeah,
okay,
me too. I
tried to pull up the browser for Ford and it froze my thing for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway.
Yeah, see Ford browser, it's freezing things.
What is wrong
the only Ford support we got, someone said the new electric Fords are kind of cool. They're kind of cool. No one goes the Teslas. Yeah, they're kind of cool.
That's true.
Teslas are cool. The Rivian's cool. The Ford electric cars, they should be super exciting. But this guy says they're kind of cool.
It's a good point. It's a big deal. It's a big deal there. You're talking some facts there, Greg.
I just want to know who's buying Ford. Who makes that decision?
The more you say that word, the more weird it sounds. It just
Ford.
Sounds weird.
Ford sounds weird. Ford, the car company. Listen, I used to drive. Hey, I used to drive. I can say this now because I no longer drive it. I used to drive a Saturn. That car company went extinct. I was the fool at one point.
Did?
I drove a Saturn. Yeah, they don't make Saturns anymore.
Oh my gosh.
So I was the fool. I got a Saturn. So I can say who's buying the Fords. It's a great American car company, but its time has passed.
Oh, lie. Jeez. Almost like Woolworths. I don't even know if you know what a Woolworths is, or Sears. Sears still around?
No.
They're not. I know JCPenney, I think, is still around. Isn't it?
Sears is gone.
Sears is gone. Is JCPenney still around?
Kmart's gone.
Kmart's mostly gone, right? There are still Kmart's though, right?
No, I think they're gone.
Oh my God. What has happened to this world? What has happened? Okay.
Ford, so I'm going to say I was right.
No one did.
So Ford, if you want to sponsor me and change my mind, I will say I am pretty negotiable. Once money is involved, I will change. I'm not like the other tech YouTubers. They're like, money can't change me. Money will change me. So if you want to throw some money my way, Ford,
that is true. This is great. This particular video will never come back to bite you in the butt if you do decide to sponsor Greg and someone finds it on the internet. You
guys are lucky. Samsung's never like reached out to me. I'd say Samsung's a good phone if you gave me some money. Come on, Samsung.
Why wouldn't you? That's what we.
Yeah, Apple doesn't give me any money. I just got to be honest with them. Google doesn't give me any money.
That's true. We just got to be real honest with people who don't give us money. Everyone else will lie about. I won't.
Yeah,
but Greg will.
I would.
I
At least
only
I'm
work
honest,
with
right? All these other tech YouTubers are like, I wouldn't lie for the money, but you know what? They do lie.
a lot of them do. I only
No
work
one
now
lies.
with brands. I only work now with brands that I really like and that I feel
I'm just
like are
kidding.
supportive of me. But yeah, no, you're 100% right about that. That is a thing. Speaking of which,
I'm just
so
kidding. I would never
I'm
change my mind for money. It's beneath me.
I'm gonna let that sit for a minute.
I would never
All
change
right.
my mind for money. My audience is more important, Travis. The minute you lose trust with your audience, it's over for you. It's true. The minute you lose trust with your audience, it's over.
It's true. It could be over
You
before
can't.
that too.
You
Though, of
can't
course.
take your audience for granted. They're the people who got you this
I agree
far.
with that.
And that is a warning to whoever that's directed at knows who I'm talking about. So spend the next couple of days thinking about that.
Oh yeah,
person.
504 says, remember when Travis didn't lie about the Dolby headphones? Yeah, that was a whole thing.
Yeah, see,
We'll talk about
Travis
that another
honest.
time. It was very honest. To my detriment in a way. I don't know. Well, not to my detriment, to the detriment of the person who sent me the Dolby headphones. Anyway, that's another story for another day.
Sometimes it doesn't work. They sent you the Pixel
anywho.
phone, and you're like, this thing's garbage.
Yep.
The
No, I
audio
never
doesn't
said that.
work.
I said the video and the audio and the video wasn't great. Yeah, and then they ghosted me ever since. But listen, you know, it's their prerogative. All right. Well, anyway, we're about wrapping it up. Real quick, I think I'm hoping that it's this week. Yeah, we are. Trust me, we are. I'm thinking that hopefully later this week I release what will be for the foreseeable future my last video on the tech channel. I've done. I think I talked about it last week. I had my final 3 videos that I was thinking about making. 2 of them have been released. Both of them kind of tanked. No real surprise. Well, one was a surprise that it kind of tanked because it's been in the phone switch series, so that was disappointing. But ultimately, like, this is one of the reasons that I'm leaving. It's interesting because I saw on Twitter a bunch of people, especially like Max Tech and those guys, talking about how tech YouTube is kind of the views are kind of down, which we've talked about on the podcast before. But what's interesting is now we're starting to see from like news places that they're talking about like a recession coming and a tech recession coming and that sort of thing, which is interesting and kind of scary for a lot of channels. And I get that. I think his name is Yuriev or whatever from Max Tech was saying that he looked and saw that most tech YouTube channels had their worst month this past month in the last 3 years, some of the larger channels, which is saying a lot. That's actually kind of makes me feel a little bit better because I also have had one of the worst months I've had in a long time. But, you know, it also confirms, you know, what I'm doing, which is, you know, kind of walking away from tech for a while. Not GadgetCast. I'll still be on GadgetCast. So I have one more to go. I hope you will all come watch it and stuff. But if a tech recession comes, I don't even, what is that? What is a tech recession? What would that even be, Greg?
I don't believe in a tech recession at all. I think if a recession happens, it'll boost views.
Because you think
what are people going to do?
Vicariously?
They're going to live through the videos. They can't buy the tech. They're going to just
that's
watch
what
the video.
I used to do. But you can say that now, and
that's what I used to do when I had no money. I was the most informed when I had no money. I watched every tech video. I was like, oh, what a cool device. I want to learn more about it. So I think if a recession does happen, it means people aren't going to spend money as much. They're going to watch more free content like YouTube. So I really don't think it's going to impact views. I have no idea what Max Tech is talking about.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think the reason why views have been low right now is just because people are doing a lot of things that they couldn't do when everything was shut down.
Yeah.
So I would attribute that to views. And then I would also say a lot of the shortages have probably also impacted reviews to a point where people aren't watching stuff because they can't buy it. So maybe that would be part of why views are down for like this tech stuff. And I also have my other thoughts on this stuff, but I don't know if we have enough time.
I mean, we can talk about it next week.
The mystery. Well, programming note, there will be no show next Sunday with peace and love. There will be no show because WWDC is the next day. It makes no sense.
Oh, yeah.
There will be no show. Right. There will be no show next Sunday.
Well, we need to do like a supercast then, which we haven't done in a while.
Afterwards. Yeah, we should. We should do a supercast. We should work extra hard on getting some smart people that can talk to us about this tech recession. I've actually seen people though that have had like their best month on tech YouTube like this month. It
Oh.
is weird. There are people who are having their
Weird.
best month also. I don't know what the thing is. I gotta say, maybe I'll say it real quick, Travis. And you'll probably agree with this, I think. I think you'll agree with this. I think we'll see. I think we've lost our way as tech YouTubers. I think we have lost our way.
Do tell.
I think we started focusing on the wrong types of videos that people wanted to see. I think we stopped making tech videos. I think a lot of people stopped making tech videos, if that makes sense to you.
What did they make?
I think we made news videos. I think, like, if I look back, like how I started my channel and I look at all the content I used to make, and I still make this type of content, but I will say, I think my channel, and this has been to my benefit at times. It's not always a negative. Some of my news videos do extremely well. I will say though, one thing I've noticed is I put out more news and kind of information videos than I ever have before. But if I really look at like the videos that do well for me over a long period of time, it is the traditional tech video of like doing like a review or talking about a product or something like that. And I found when I look at my channel, the videos that kind of die off very quickly, it's all kind of like news related. Like, let's say I did a video on the iPhone 14, right? It's like a rumor video, but it dies very quickly because there's always another rumor. So why would you watch the old rumor video when there's a new rumor video coming out? I've always done these videos, by the way. I've always done like a mix, which is why I think my channel's always done pretty well. I've never focused on like one type of video. But I will say, I think I focused more on those types of videos just because they were doing very well for a while. It's what the audience wanted. But I think the audience is done with those videos in a way. I think they're tired of them because there's so many people doing them now.
Yeah.
And I've almost thought maybe I won't do these videos anymore. There's so many people doing them. I don't need to do them anymore. Maybe I'll just focus on the traditional stuff.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if that's something that, you know, you can enjoy and you're good at them. So why wouldn't you? I don't know that I'm good at them and I really don't want to do them. So that's why I'm kind of,
that's the problem. If you don't want to do them, then the videos require too much effort.
They do. They really do.
To kind of not want to do them. So it would be soul crushing to kind of not want to do them and then do them. But I will say that I just feel like there's a lot of the same video out there, right? We've talked about this on Gadgetcast. There's the same video and everyone makes them. So,
yeah. Well, let's talk about my next week or the week after next or whatever. When we get an opportunity.
We're going to talk about your last tech video.
Yeah,
is it a goodbye? Is it like, hey?
No, it's a remake of one of my
video.
No, I don't even say that because the thing is, you know, if something happens in tech and I think it's interesting, I'll make a video, but I just have nothing planned, which could last anywhere between a week, a month, a year. Last time I did this for my podcast, I never did another podcast for 7 years. So I don't know what's going to happen. I really honestly don't know what's going to happen. But the thing is, it's funny.
Are you not going to do, you know, I think you title, why don't you make a video and say, you should make a video and say my my health is starting to suffer.
Yeah.
That should be your last video.
Yeah, I'm gonna die. Yeah, I get a lot of views. People in chat are saying Travis versus food, which is like no, but kind of yes, which is weird to say. I guess you just have to wait and find out. I don't know. We'll see.
Travis has told me some of his ideas. They're very crazy. I don't know if he should do them.
He might be a little worried. There's a lot of people worried about me.
It'll be entertaining. I'll be there to watch.
If nothing else, they'll be interesting to watch. So this last one is also, I think, creative. Like, so the last two, if you missed them, just FYI, was the one where I gave my dad the iPhone, which I got a lot of great comments to that. I mean, it didn't get a lot of views, but the comments were really very sweet. And then of course, the last Switch video, which a lot of people really thought was funny. This one is is another interesting one. Let's put it that way.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Anyway, everyone, thank you for joining us. The people in live chat, hang tight. I want to tell you something. Everyone else on GadgetCast, we will see you in a couple of weeks or whatever. Greg, I'm Travis. GadgetCast. Bye. All right, everyone in the chat, we're going to try something. I don't know if this is going to work. We're going to end the stream, and you're going to be allegedly immediately sent over to Jeff from El Jefe Reviews, his live stream. He's live right now. It should take you directly over there. If it works, go into chat and say, GadgetCast. Just say GadgetCast. Say, we're here from GadgetCast, GadgetCast Raid. And he'll see that and hopefully appreciate it. We're going to see if it works. We're going to go ahead and shut this down. We'll talk to you guys after WWDC, whenever that is. Of course, we're on Twitter and everything. But let's see if this works. So hang tight. And then go over there and say the things. And Greg, what's on your shirt? It's a fish.
It's a Magikarp from Pokemon, made out of different things.
All right, everybody. Go over to Jeff's.
What's so bad about that?
Go over to Jeff's stream.
Austin Evans would like this shirt.
He would. Tell him we said hey, and we'll talk.